What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what is really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So NIO is down 2.2%, 503 the low, 518 the high, and 31.9 million shares being traded. Of that 31 million though, most of which is coming from algorithmic trading, because on the secondary market, only see 5 transactions above $100,000, 3 buys, 2 sells. So unfortunately, still not seeing that level of institutional kind of willingness to buy the dip. So most likely a lot of them are just going to be waiting for NIO to hit their Q4 numbers, and regrettably that's going to be their next big catalyst, whether they do hit a lot of their very ambitious Q4 kind of targets. So it is a kind of a unfortunate type of scenario, and there wasn't any macro data coming out from China nor the States today. So today seems to be a little bit more of a self-reflection, and one thing did come out that might be spooking some of the broader market, and that is UBS pretty much signaling that Chinese passenger vehicle, that market is going to weaken in 2026. So again, not necessarily the best. UBS, on a side note, does actually have a fairly bullish rating on NIO. So give you a quick overview of that. So September the 16th, they did give a buy 850 price target. So in general, UBS might be potentially downgrading NIO and maybe others as well because of this potentially new information. So aside from that, there really hasn't been all that much in kind of speculative news or anything like that, even associated to NIO. Despite it being down 31.28%, you're not really seeing any institutional buying. Even on the dark pool, you are seeing some transactions, but it is fair to assume, based on the price action, it's actually hedge funds selling. And the reason why I would come to that conclusion is because of this. So shorts, at the time of doing this video, shorts are returning 3.75 million shares. So if you kind of just do the basic math, by shorts returning, which is adding buying pressure, like something has to offset that. So it is fair to assume that a lot of these transactions on the dark pool are into like hedge funds actually selling, and most likely a lot of the big ones, so the solid ones, about 250, 200,000, 100,000, that is all just hedge funds. So most likely in February/March, when we do get the new 13Fs coming down the pipeline, maybe some institutions will be selling or will indicate that they kind of sold out NIO in Q4. So it is, like I said, just more of an unfortunate type of scenario. But like I said, shorts returning depends on how you see things. I also could interpret this sell-off today as unjustified. 11.29% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 156.32 million shares overall are being shorted. DTC being 2.26 days, so that does signal that shorts are overextended as well. So aside from all of that fun stuff, looking at options, 4.7 million in calls, 1.4 in puts. 46% of all the options being done though are bullish in nature. Possibly some of that could be interpreting that they might have a nice reversal, because from the technicals, with it right now at 507, it is trading between its S2 and this S3. So 499 is going to be a strong support. Potentially, maybe this is where people doing bullish options are anticipating that it'll bounce off that 499 and move higher. But as I mentioned, I think the next big catalyst is just simply NIO hitting their Q4 numbers. So we do have a little bit of time until we actually get some of those catalysts to come to fruition. So I think NIO is just kind of stuck right now, unfortunately. But from a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around 550 to 6 by the end of this Friday. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub between 450 and 5. So you kind of have a little bit more back and forth there. Aside from all that, with it at 506, like I said, it's trading between this S2 and this S3. So 499 is going to be a strong support. So just really watch for that. If that fails to hold, then yeah, things could get very real very fast. You could see 443 as the next strong support. So that would be crazy of a sell-off. But then again, NIO has kind of gone through those types of price action kind of transitions and cycles for a while now. I've been covering NIO on and off for about 2.5 years, and NIO just tends to go through these crazy runs. And so this is kind of giving the same type of 2022 tail end of 2022 sell-off vibes. So it's just a bad scenario. So if you believe in NIO, obviously bigger picture, take advantage, buy the dip. As I always say, dollar cost averaging is kind of the way to go. But right now there doesn't seem to be any like catalyst that is going to really incentivize any buying. Looking on the actual chart though, quickly giving you a viewpoint on that. So right now the saving grace is this right here, that 200-day moving average. So 502 is that 200-day moving average. So it kind of bounced off of that. Again, maybe that is where some bullish options are anticipating that it'll bounce off of that and move higher, at least a little bit more of a quick swing trade. But it is the next couple of trading days are going to be very important. So if this 200 does fail to hold, then you are going to see a very aggressive sell-off, similar to what happened back in March 2025 as well, when it went from about 450 to a low of 302. So yeah, it's all going to come down to the numbers. Regrettably as well, coming from China, there hasn't and isn't going to be any data coming out this week that could really save NIO. So it is going to be this 200-day moving average, going to be the saving grace. There really wasn't that much in articles coming out, aside from that UBS kind of fearful downgrade for Chinese EVs or vehicles in total. So let me know your general thoughts on that. Are you buying NIO? Are you selling? Like, what are you generally doing? Or did this kind of sell-off, crazy sell-off, prompt you to kind of just say peace out, liquidate, and whatever else? So what's your kind of general thoughts? One final thing, if you are looking for some solid buy signals, pop over to my Patreon. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.